And we're live here on YouTube. I'd like to welcome those listening in podcast line. And also, my buddy Rich. Rich, how you doing this week? You and me both. Yep. Yeah, that's totally awesome. No, we are. I agree. This last week and a half has been taxing to say the least. But I am getting it. We're gonna have a 5-day weekend next weekend, and then the hard part though becomes that I also have to think about that December is really busy for me too. I have like 5 more concerts. But check this out, Rich. I did the math. I'm gonna use comp time and then 1 vacation day or 1 personal day, and I'm going to take the whole 2-week break off for Christmas. So I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing the shutdown. I'm joining all the teachers, and they're all and everybody agrees. So I'm game, and this is what's happening. So. Rich, we got a pretty good show. We got to go kind of quick. The Festival of the Trees Parade starts in under an hour, so we're going to try to get to that. But before we do that, we got some stuff to talk about. So we're going to talk about the NFL. That's going to be our biggest topic this week, as it is most weeks that we have NFL. But we have lots of extra games to talk about this week that we're going to have to do. We both did our power rankings, so we have that. But, Rich, we're also going to dip our toes into, but not limited, to some esports updates that I'm going to give, because this week was state championships for the state of Iowa. Rich, I didn't leave you with much, but I figure we'll do a couple quick hits, and you can pick 1 or 2 of those that you want to top on. No, that's a must. We need to talk about that.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.
And we're back. Okay. To get things started, we are going to talk about our poll question. Poll question this week was fireworks versus picnics. I am shocked at how this one went. Yeah, I don't understand how people don't love fireworks. That is just crazy to me, and I don't demand a recount, but man, fireworks wins. Let me pull that up. I forgot. Or picnics win, even though fireworks are far more superior. Okay. Rich, I'm going to talk for a minute while I do some changing on some stuff just to get things a little bit better on our sound quality because I have some stuff going. What? No. Yep, go ahead.
Four votes this week, joining myself in saying that picnics were the preferred activity were Matt Johnson and your wife Danielle Hart. Mike, you were the lone voter for fireworks. So kind of surprised with that. Like I said, I'm kind of surprised. You can always find our, whether you disagree or, so picnics will go into our all activities kind of elite 9 since we threw a wild card in there since we didn't have the time to kind of re-rank the activities last week. So what we will have this week is we've re-ranked all the activities and just jog everybody's memory, since we started this so long ago. The final 9 activities that we'll be voting on and taking forward in our poll questions will be bonfires, farmers markets, grilling, sledding and tubing, bike riding, tailgating, bird watching, snowball fights, and the winner of our wild card poll, picnics.
Okay, that's great.
So picnics will automatically have our number 9 seed in this Elite 8 since they were a wild card activity and did not originally advance through the polling options. And so this week we're going to go with our 5-6 matchup right in the middle of the poll group. So we'll have our number 5 seeded bike riding against tailgating at number 6. I'll try to get that poll question up when we wrap up today.
That sounds great, Rich. I am hoping. Man, that's weird. Again, I'm still shocked that fireworks didn't do better. But the people vote, and we are men of the people, so we're going to go with that. Rich, this week we also need to talk. With that, let's head to the gridiron as we got to talk about football this week.
Yes, we do, Mike. So, Mike, the Bears and the Vikings played in Minneapolis last week, and the Bears won 19-17. Another come-from-behind comeback victory for the Bears. So they're not dominating, but they're winning, and winning is what matters, Mike. So, with that, would you have thought, with the Lions coming off of being a tough division for the most part, that the Bears would be in first place this late into the season?
No, not at all.
Detroit being third place.
Yeah.
Being third place.
I am shocked that that's how it goes.
All right, so both of us, Mike, and the Bears are 7-3 on the year. Mike, how did the locks of the week go?
Locks of the week, Rich. I picked the Texans over the Titans. The Texans won 16-13, making me 9-2 on the season. Rich, you picked the Niners over the Cardinals. The Niners win 41-22. Doesn't matter how you win. You won big. I won little. Doesn't matter how you win. We both are 9-2 on the season. Upset specials of the week. I picked the Commanders over the Dolphins. Rich, how did that go?
The Dolphins won 16-13 over in Spain, dropping you to 5-6. Mike, I went with the Bengals over the Steelers, mostly because I don't like the Steelers, and the Steelers won 34-12 as Joe Burrow's Bengals could not get anything going offensively, and they also lost their best player in Jamar Chase because he chose to spit on somebody. Yeah,
that's terrible.
Kind of odd. 1-10 for me on upset specials. And Mike, Thursday night football, what happened in that Bills-Texans game?
I mean, I don't know what actually. I mean, I didn't watch it, so I don't know.
No,
but
neither did I.
The Bills lost to the Texans. I know that much. I don't know the final score. Rich is getting it for me. Rich, we both picked the Bills. Houston wins 23-19. dropping us both down. I don't have that exact number on how we're doing on that. We'll get that next week. We're not that worried about it. Speaking of next week, or this week, man, do we have a lot of football to talk about this week. You want to do that first, or do you want to do power rankings first, Rich?
Let's get our picks in.
Okay. So this week,
just in case we go overboard on the power ranking talks.
Sounds good.
Mike, this week, the Steelers come into Chicago to face the Bears at Soldier Field. My hatred for the Steelers is well known on this show, so I got to pick I'm going to pick the Bears, especially with it's possible Aaron Rodgers might not be playing in that game.
Okay. I didn't realize, I hadn't seen the news about Aaron Rodgers, but I still think I'm going to pick the Bears either way. I was hoping Aaron was playing so that the Bears can take the deed of Soldier Field back, because legit that man has owned Soldier Field. Like, that stadium does not bother him. So yeah, speaking of which, Rich, did you get my text that I sent him Sunday night?
I did, about possibly going to a game before the stadium closes.
Yep.
I can see that.
I mean, I'm even okay if we go to a preseason game, but I've never been to the inside.
I think I've only driven by it. I don't even think I've walked outside of it just walked around it, walked inside of it, let alone been inside of it. So yeah, I could see that as a possibility of trying to make that happen.
So we're going to try to do that hopefully next year, but big changes for both of us in the next couple of years. So who knows? With that, Rich, lots of the week. You have the honors as it is.
I am. I'm going to go with the Lions over the Giants. The Lions need to get back on track to keep a playoff spot, or get back in the hunt for the division. But and the G-men really are going downhill.
They're a bad team.
Firing their coach. They lost their quarterback is still out in concussion protocol and dark. So and Jameis Winston, he chucks the ball. He will rack up the passing yards, but some of those yards go back to the opposite team. He's turnover prone.
Yes, except he finds a way to win, even being prone to turnovers. That's the scary part for that pick for you. I'm here for it. I agree, but I also understand that can be a very scary pick anytime you pick against Jameis Winston, because he sometimes just finds ways to win. Nobody understands. Like, the year he went 30-30, I think he still had 9 wins.
I think so.
How do you have 9 wins and have 30 interceptions in a season? So the guy magically finds ways to win, but it is the Giants, so I don't think you're that far off. This week, I'm going to do something that I preach against all the time as a lock of the week. I'm going to pick a divisional game.
Good.
I'm going to pick the Eagles over the Cowboys.
Okay.
The Eagles are a great team. We're going to get into that in just a minute. And the Cowboys they still are pretty garbage.
I think that right now they're kind of average. But because they're the Dallas Cowboys, they're still getting those primetime games. They're still getting the marquee, and they're still the darlings in the media world, whether they're doing good or they're doing bad, or they're just average.
And some days I do feel like we shouldn't even talk about the Cowboys in a given week, because there's enough of that going on. But what are you going to do?
I don't mind the pick. I think the Eagles are kind of winning close games.
Yep.
And once again, we'll kind of talk about that in our power rankings.
And I'm definitely going to. I've said it on the show before, but we'll get into some other things similar to that in just a minute. Upset specials, Rich. There were plenty to pick from, I think, on upset specials.
I had a hard time finding one. So I'm going to go with really 2 bad teams.
Yep.
And I'm going to go with the Browns over the Raiders.
Okay. Not a bad way to do that. picking two bad teams, you never know what that game is actually going to look like. So you kind of got to get a kind of a pick-em type game. I'm game for it.
Yeah, Shedeur Sanders getting his first full-time start. Maybe he's got that chip on his shoulder of seeing how many times, with the amount of teams that passed on him, that it's either going to be a prove-it game or he's going to play so bad he's going to show the world that, yeah, that's why you were a 6th-round pick.
I think the latter is probably more accurate than the former. I don't understand.
Or he'll be a typical Browns quarterback and play just good enough because they're just going to run the ball over and over and over again and kick a field goal. But the Raiders are bad this year.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it overall. Okay, with that, Rich, I'm going to pick I'm going to go the opposite direction and pick two good teams, I think.
Good.
As I'm going to pick the Bucs over the Rams. I think both teams are playing pretty well this year. I think the Bucs are above where we thought they would be, but so they're doing pretty decent. Where the Rams, they are slightly underperforming, but still a pretty good team. I'm going to pick the Bucs over the Rams.
All right, Mike. Thanksgiving, I think we got a good selection of games this week for the Thanksgiving holiday over Thursday, Friday slate.
There is one meme game in here. Like it's a meme game. I think it's going to be a decent game anyway. But I think overall the picks, the games are great. I agree.
Okay, Packers-Lions over on CBS I think that's a Fox. No, I don't remember. I don't remember which one. Who has which network, so I'll stop.
Whatever.
Yes. Packers-Lions, Mike, for the first game of the first game. Who are you thinking?
I like the Lions on it.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs go down to Dallas to take on the Cowboys in the afternoon game. I'm going to go with the Chiefs on this one. Even with them kind of playing questionable football.
Yeah, I agree. So the Packers-Lions are on Fox.
Oh, okay.
The Chiefs-Cowboys are on, I'm guessing, CBS. Yep.
Yep.
And I'm going to pick the Chiefs in that one. That just makes sense.
All right, Mike, and finally, the NBC night game sees a divisional game between the Bengals taking on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. There is reports read, because I have Joe Burrow on a lot of fantasy teams, that he might be making his comeback that week. That's his targeted week to come back.
And Lamar Jackson has actually he showed up on the injury list as probable, but still he is on the injury list again. So depending on how this week goes, maybe he's injured for that. Who knows? But with that, I think the Ravens win this one, right?
Yeah, I could see myself flipping the pick if Lamar Jackson doesn't play and Joe Burrow does.
Yeah,
But right now, I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Is it crazy? Like, to me, is it slightly crazy that their records are pretty even, aren't they?
I think the Ravens are back up at 500. The Bengals, I think, are like 3-6 right now. But they're still, I think, because of how evenly matched everybody is in that division, there's a chance that the Bengals could turn around and still win their division. So I think that's why Joe Burrow's trying to come back, even though on paper it would make sense just to put him on a season-ending IR and go for a high draft pick.
Yeah, but the Bengals aren't that smart sometimes. So, so I'm going to pick the Ravens on this one. And then Friday, I think that's Amazon, right?
Yeah, that's an Amazon game.
Amazon has the Bears versus the Eagles in Philadelphia. I'm picking the Bears in this one. Or no,
I'm taking the Bears. I'm going to take the Bears. They're the hot team, and I think the Eagles are winning games. They're not really blowing people out like they did in the past. And right now, the Bears are just sort of finding ways to win.
And so I said it, so I'm gonna stick with the Bears. Initially, I had put
Yep.
down the Phillies, but the Eagles. Here's the thing, like you said, the Eagles are playing in very close games. They're just doing enough to win. The Bears are finding ways at the end of very close games to win, where the Eagles are finding ways to make it close at the end, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And so I agree. If the Bears have the opportunity, I think the Bears can make that win happen. So let's go Bears. With that, Rich, are you ready for some power rankings?
Yes, sir.
We
Let's go for
we are
it.
only 20 minutes in, so we have plenty of time to do all of the power rankings if you would like, but we don't have to. So, number one team overall.
Number one overall team for me is still the Indianapolis Colts.
I agree.
I don't know if they're the best team in the NFL, and I think their record, yes, they are winning games decisively. It isn't like they're like some other teams that we've talked about, and that we'll probably talk about later on in the rankings, on where we have teams ranking to where they're pulling off upset wins or barely coming out with victories.
Yep.
They are convincing victories, but I think their record is reflected in their strength of schedule, or
Yeah.
lack thereof, because of who they're beating. But it doesn't matter who you're beating. It's that you are winning, and the Colts are doing that.
Yep. I 100% agree, and that's where I put them. Number two, I put the Denver Broncos. They are winning games. They're just winning games.
They are.
And they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs are not in the top 10 for the first time in maybe 3 years for me. But they're still a good team. They're still a top 15 team. And so, coming off a victory like that, a division rival against Patrick Mahomes, come on now, you got to put some respect on that. Let's go Denver Broncos.
All right, I'm not ready to put the Broncos up that high.
Okay.
But my number two team is another team that's winning football games, but really don't have any signature wins in my opinion. Much like the Colts, I think might have one. They have maybe one. They have some teams. They have some wins against some good teams, and I'm going to go with the New England Patriots. They're first in their division, and first in a very crowded NFC East. AFC East.
Yep.
And Vrabel's kind of turned things back around up there in New England.
I'm not mad at that. I don't have them quite that high. This might be this. We got a decent gap here. We'll talk about that when we get there, and I'll give my reasons why. Rich, who do you have at number three?
Number three is where I put the LA Rams.
Ooh, okay. Not mad at it, but for me, number three is the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right, I'm not that far away on the Eagles. I have them at number four.
And number four, I have the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
I think the Bills feel like they're trying the Kansas City method of football this year. We're doing just enough to get into the playoffs, and then in the playoffs, we're going to turn it all the way up to 11.
Okay.
So I think that's what they're going to try to do, just because that's it. At number five, this is where I have the Detroit Lions. They dropped out from number two. They were number two last week. They dropped down to number five. They probably should have dropped lower, but I'm still on this Dan Campbell. Like, if Dan Campbell called me today and said, you need to pick up that fish tank behind you and move it across the room, I think I'm going to try, because Dan Campbell can make me believe that I can do anything. Okay. So I think that's where I'm going to be on that one.
Gotcha. So I have the Detroit Lions quite a bit lower.
Okay.
Just so I'm just looking at their victories. I gotta put some other teams that have a better record above them.
Okay.
I think the Lions are better.
So who do you have at number five?
Number five is where I put the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
And if they keep winning, they'll probably keep rising up.
So I'm going to challenge you on this.
Okay.
And I know that the eye test that you and I use, does not just rely on the quarterback. That is not how we do things. It's a team effort. But in a game, who would you prefer starting for your team? You're starting a brand new team. You get 2 picks for quarterback. You get Drake May or you get Bo Nix. Who you picking?
I think I'm going to take Drake May.
Really? I thought that 100% backfired on me because I was gonna. I'm taking Bo Nix. I'm taking Bo Nix every day. In fact, all 3 of my fantasy teams have him on that. Like I think Bo Nix, the standout quarterback, right? Like not overall, but at least this season, like. He's making this his statement season, and I think I think he's doing it better than Drake May and winning more statement games. By the way, you also talked about look at the statement games. The Broncos have them. I think. I mean, they literally just beat the Chiefs.
And I see that. Well, okay, yep. They did beat the Eagles earlier in the year.
Right. So they beat the Eagles. A little bit higher. So they beat the Eagles. They beat the Colts, or they lost to the Colts. Is that they have 2 losses? They
lost to the Bolts. Yeah, they lost to the Bolts.
They lost to the Bolts, but that's a divisional game. Yeah, and that's a really close one. And the Bolts are a good team.
Like I said, more than likely the Broncos will be up a little bit higher next week.
I mean, yes, I give you that they beat the Jets, the Giants, and the Cowboys 3 weeks in a row, and that's and they've beaten the Raiders. But the Texans are not really that bad of a team. They're an okay-ish team, and the Chiefs. So, I mean, they got the Eagles and the Chiefs, and the Texans. I think those 3 are pretty good statement wins.
All right. You know what? I'll give you that. So I think it's just boiling down to maybe a personal preference.
No, and that's fine. Like again,
if the Rams or Eagles, I don't even think that. I don't even know if I was to use the same logic of saying that. All right, in the odd event that the current Eagles or Rams played them, I would probably pick the Eagles. I would probably pick the Rams or the Eagles to beat the Denver Broncos.
Right.
So that's why I have them ranked higher.
And I don't blame you.
That's my logic right now.
And in all honesty, if the game that happened this last week, the Chiefs over the Broncos, or the Chiefs and Broncos, who would you like in 5 weeks? Christmas Day. We're gonna have the Chiefs play the Broncos again. I think 90% of the country is going to pick the Chiefs.
Yep, and I would probably join them.
But I still think that the Broncos. I think I'm going to probably pick the Broncos in that game. Don't hold me to it. We'll get there in a month. Okay, let's go back to the rankings.
Number 6, Mike, is this is where I put the Buffalo Bills.
Okay, this is where I have the Rams.
Okay.
I think the Rams are doing fine. I don't think they're a bad team, but I don't know. Yeah. At number 7?
Yeah, number 7. I put the Seahawks here.
Okay, I put the other team in the NFC West that's doing great. The second of the great teams, in my opinion, the San Francisco 49ers.
All right. We're not that far off on the Niners, so.
Okay. Who do you at number 8, Rich? Okay. This is where you can blow me up. This is where I put the Patriots. I still, for some reason, I don't trust them still.
Well, I guess for me, whether I don't trust them or not, I guess your logic of saying, well, the Broncos are 8-2. They've beaten some good teams. The Patriots have the exact same record.
They do, and I'm not.
The exact same record. I mean, the reason that I put the Patriots up at 2 is because we're using that logic of the Colts the Colts have a bad strength of schedule, but they're winning football games.
Okay.
Decisively, a little bit more decisively than the Patriots, but they're still winning games. So
And
why
here's
would
where,
you have them up higher?
again, I'm going to push back a couple of spots. One, a loss to the Raiders.
Okay.
2, the only statement win they have is against a divisional rival in the Bills.
I would put the Buccaneers as a good statement win. But
I think that's a good win. I don't think that's a statement win. I will give you that it's a good win, but it's not a statement win. In the Eagles and again, I think you could argue that the Chiefs win is only a good win, not a statement win. I will give you that. But the Broncos had one statement win, 2 good wins. I only see 1 good win and 1 statement win in the Patriots record.
yeah.
And so
And I think the other reason why I put the Patriots up at 2 is just to have this type of discussion. But my main argument around why are the Patriots up so high is for the same reason we have the Colts up at 1.
I mean,
they're winning, they're stacking up their wins and beating the teams that they should be beating.
Yeah,
they're stacking up those wins.
But they lost to the Raiders, and they lost to the Steelers. Steelers are an okay team, but they're not a great team. It's hard for me, especially that loss to the Raiders. You're gonna losing to the Raiders this year. Oh, that's rough.
That was a week. Granted, the Patriots, that was a week 1 loss.
Yes.
And they were adjusting to a new coaching staff. The loss to the Steelers was week number 3. So they're on quite a bit of a winning streak right now.
They are, and I'm not denying that. I'm just making the statement that I don't see. You talked about statement victories, and the reason why you didn't put the Broncos up higher was because they didn't have statement victories. That was your words, not mine.
Yep.
I think that the Broncos have more statement victories or good victories than the Patriots. The Patriots are doing what they need to do. They are likely. I mean, they have. Now again, I think they get better. They get better ranked as the rest of the season goes on. As they have the Bengals tomorrow, without any good quarterback, without a Joe under center, if you will, and then you have the Giants again. Probably not going to have. I mean, maybe they get Dart back, but maybe not. Who knows? It's a Monday night game, so then they play the Bills. I think that's a loss. The Ravens,
Could be a loss.
That's probably going to be a loss. But then they get the Jets and the Dolphins. I think those are both wins. So they win 4 of the next 6. 4 losses at most. They make the playoffs. But I think again, they win the next 2 weeks, they're probably going to be in the top. Like if they win this week, they'll probably be in the top 5. The week after, they'll probably be in the top 3, depending on who else wins and stuff. But then if they lose against the Bills and the Ravens 2 weeks in a row, back down to just the top 5 probably. I predict they end the season in the top 5, but not in the top 3.
Okay. So, Mike, just like I'm saying, well, more than likely the Broncos are going to go up.
Yeah.
You're saying most likely the Patriots are going to go up.
Correct.
Depending on the outcome of their games.
Right.
Mike, at number 8 is where I have the Chicago Bears.
And I was tempted. I'm trying to be a realist, not a homer. So I don't have them that high. We'll get to where we have them in just a second. As I plan to go through most of the power rankings, unless you have other things you want to talk about. But yeah, I like that. And again, we've talked about time and time again. It's hard to call the Bears a good team because we're Bears fans and we've been watching them, and we see their flaws. But good teams win close games and find ways to win close games, and that's what they've been doing. Yeah, I think the Bears probably deserve a little bit higher, again, if they win this week, definitely going up. They will be in the top 10. But man, yeah, okay. Who do you got at number 9, Rich?
9 is where I put the 49ers.
Okay, that's only 2 spots off. I'm fine with that. That's a very fine spot for them to be in. At number 9, this is where I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay.
And at number 10, the Seattle Seahawks.
I put Detroit here.
Okay. Again, this is a team that probably drops if they lose another game, they will be at best 10, if not out of the top 10. And that's, yeah, I don't blame you on that. The Bears being the number 1 team in the division probably deserve to be a little bit higher than them, but I'm still skeptical. There are still things that the Bears are working on. And I think they are working on them, which is why I have them at number 11.
Okay.
So,
doesn't like there's a big gap between us.
No.
I put the Chiefs at number 11, and the Bucs are at number 12.
So I wanted to put the Chiefs at number 11. The problem is I couldn't put them that high. They couldn't get above the Bears, and so I have the Chiefs at number 12.
Okay.
At 13, Rich, what do you got?
I put the Baltimore Ravens here. They're winning games again. Obviously enough, Lamar Jackson is back in the lineup.
Yep.
So yeah, they're climbing back up their division rankings, and I think if Jackson can stay healthy, they'll be back in the playoff hunt.
So here's my problem with that one there, and I don't have them that much lower. I don't think. Let me look again. I got them a bit lower, but here's the problem. And no, we'll talk about that when I get there. I have the Jacksonville Jaguars here. Again, this is a team that is winning games and just winning games, and they're at 6 wins on the season, doing all right. That's where I put them. At number 14, Rich, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. I don't think there's much to say about the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're fine. At number 15, who do you got, Rich?
That's where I put the Superchargers. They seem to be choking away a lot of victories.
Yeah, they seem to be losing games in the way that the Bears are winning games.
Mm-hmm.
They're finding a way to lose the game, not finding ways to win the game. So, yeah, I think they're right at the middle of the pack. And that's a hard spot to be in. And at number 16, this is where I have the Baltimore Ravens. Now, here's why. We both, and I think you have them a little higher than I do right now, but the Miami Dolphins tend to have some problems in that their quarterback, or their gameplay is based on how their quarterback, if their quarterback's healthy. And the Baltimore Ravens are just a slightly better version of the Miami Dolphins. Lamar Jackson is a much better version of Tua Tagovailoa. Tua, you don't know if you're going to win the game, but you're also not sure if he's going to be healthy. Lamar Jackson, you're going to win the game, but you don't know if he's going to stay healthy the whole game.
I think I don't know if Tua and Lamar Jackson are a good comparison or not.
I'm not
I was
talking.
expecting you to go there.
Okay.
I was expecting you to go there. So
Now-
I don't know if I have a good rebuttal. I
No,
don't have a good rebuttal.
no, I'm not saying no. Hear me out. I'm not saying they're a good comparison as way of quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson is an elite quarterback. He is in the top 3 of quarterbacks in the league. I am not arguing that at all. He is one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league right now. But when he's not healthy, how terrible is that team?
Yep, okay. Now I see it. Now I see your point there. Because when
It-
he goes out, they don't. What I don't understand about when you have a team that has a good running quarterback, a running type of quarterback, where your offense is built around that threat to run, you would think that you would have a backup quarterback that has a similar skill set, where your offense isn't totally getting revamped and changed when you got to go to a backup quarterback.
So that's exactly what I'm saying. What you're catching it now. The offense in Miami is based around Tua Tagovailoa. The offense in Baltimore, 100% has to have Lamar Jackson in it. That's the only comparison. Outside of that, Tua can't carry Lamar Jackson's ball bag into the stadium. That's how much better Lamar Jackson is than Tua Tagovailoa. I'm not saying Tua's bad. I'm just saying Lamar Jackson is so much better. But as soon as he gets hurt, you can't. Do you trust that team to win a game?
No.
Okay.
That would be a good backup for Lamar Jackson. Justin Fields.
Yeah. He has the.
Fields is a better runner than a passer, but you could turn around. You could make that a serviceable offense. You could make a Lamar Jackson light offense around him.
Yep.
If you had to put him in the game action.
Yep, I can agree with that. And the problem is that they don't have that, and so that's why, again. And I'm not disagreeing that Lamar Jackson. Like, people hear me. Lamar Jackson is of current quarterbacks on the Mount Rushmore. I'm just saying current quarterbacks. I'm not saying like all times. But of current quarterbacks, he deserves to be on the Mount Rushmore. By the way, maybe we should have that discussion sometime. Just current quarterbacks. I'm not talking like all times. I'm talking like who's playing right now. And I have one that, again, I'm a stand for this man of who I would put on there that most people wouldn't. But we'll get to that when we have that discussion sometime. Okay, with that, Rich, let's move down to number 17, the Carolina Panthers.
Okay, so I put the Packers at 16 and the Panthers at
Oh,
17.
I'm sorry. I forgot that you didn't do your 16. Okay. Number 18, this is where I have the Packers. A tie against the Cowboys. I just can't overlook a tie against the Cowboys. And they lost last week, so they dropped it even more. At number 19, Rich, who you got?
18 is where I put the Houston Texans. 19 is where I have the Jaguars.
Okay.
I'm starting to see them kind of having more of a downward trend.
Yeah, I can see
And
that.
where they were maybe in a position to get a playoff spot or at least finish second in their division. Now the Texans are starting to come back around and win football games while the Jaguars are going in the opposite direction. That's why I couldn't have them. And maybe with Houston, maybe their win against the Bills on Thursday night played a part in getting them up a little bit higher. And
That's what I kind of figured.
Yeah, and I think the reason why I have the Ravens a little bit higher than you are because I'm looking at future wins. I'm looking at the team going forward, not where they've been.
But Rich, why do
I know.
we? If you're looking at future wins, why do we play the game?
Yeah.
I mean,
All right,
if Lamar gets taken out this week,
yeah,
are those
then they're
future
gonna
wins?
stop right. They're probably going to start going back down.
Okay. 19 is where I have the Houston Texans. At 20,
Okay.
I have the Atlanta Falcons.
I put the Vikings here. The Falcons seem to be losing a lot of close games. They're
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
So, in
They're
all honesty,
going-
I don't know why I picked the. I genuinely don't know why I put the Falcons here. I don't have a defense for it. I really don't.
All right.
In all honesty, but 21 is where I have the Vikings.
All right, Mike. So this is where we're going to have to call an audible here, and let's go to our bottom five.
Okay.
Because I think we're probably going to have a lot of the same teams in that 21 through bottom five, just in different orders.
Yep.
And you did want to talk a little bit of baseball before we got to wrap things up today. So, Mike, let's go to the bottom.
32.
The Titans.
Yes.
Okay.
Are they in number one pick mode at this point?
I think they are, but I don't think they need the number one pick. I think they're going to be trading that away for they're going to be auctioning that pick off because they already got their quarterback.
Yep. 31, I have the New York Jets.
Me too.
Okay. Number 30, I have the Aints.
I put the Raiders here.
Okay. I mean,
with the Saints at number 29.
Okay. 29, I have the Browns.
I put the Browns at number 28. They play good defense. They just can't get. They just don't have an offense. And I think a lot of that has to do with that they don't have a quarterback.
I just hate the Browns.
To a quarterback.
I hate the Browns, so I won't do it. At 28, Rich, I have the Giants.
Okay, I have the Giants at number 27.
Okay, and at 27, I have the Raiders.
Okay.
So
I mean, they all have similar records. They're all losing to good teams.
Yeah. And some to bad teams.
Yeah, and some bad teams.
So yeah, I mean, you only have 2 wins. You're not winning against bad teams even. So, okay, Rich, with that, let's head into the diamond as we need to talk. You made a prediction that you don't remember making, I guess.
I don't.
Pretty sure last week we were talking about the fact that the Cubs didn't. They opted out the option for Shota, and Shota opted out of his player option. But then the Cubs tendered a what's it called, a qualifying offer, and Shota took it. So Shota is still here. You said that was a possibility. I know you don't remember saying it, but you distinctly talked about how that was something you could see happening. I said I didn't. How does that happen? Part of it, I don't. Again,
it is a 1-year deal.
Yep.
It's a 1-year deal, so I don't know. I like the Shota signing. I still think that you need to go out and get 2 pitchers. I still want to see 2 pitchers. I wouldn't say Shota and another pitcher coming out of that. But they also had tendered contracts to Justin Steele as well, another piece of the 26 rotation.
And Assad.
And Javi Assad, yeah.
So
good swing guy. I think it's a good swing guy.
I'm okay with all of that. So yeah, I think that's awesome. So real quick, any other baseball topics you want to talk about?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. We'll get to the gambling. We'll get to gambling later. NASCAR lawsuit starts this week, so next week we'll likely have, or not next week, 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks we'll probably have a real update on that. We'll see how that's going. Esports, Esterville made it to and got 3rd place in state. Harris Lake Park made it to state, didn't end up winning, and it was a great show. Loved it. And yeah, so with that, Rich, we're at 48 minutes. Let's call it a day.
Yeah. Yep. So, Mike, more than likely we'll be doing a show in person.
Yeah, 99% likelihood of show together next week. With that, Rich, people want to watch the show, or are watching the show, but want to listen in their cars while they drive. Where should they go?
Look at Balls and Sticks, the podcast, wherever you find your favorite podcast. Apple, Spotify, and whatever Google is calling their platform these days. Just
YouTube
Music. YouTube Music. Yep. Okay.
And then if you are if you're listening to us and you want to join us on Saturdays at Fridays or Saturdays, sometime in the week, check us out on YouTube.com / at Balls and Sticks You can find us with that, Rich. If they want to participate in the poll question, where should they go?
Look up
On
Mike or I
Saturdays at-
on Facebook, where you can always find the polls, as well as on Fans of Balls and Sticks. Mike, with all that being said, what's the time to do?
It's time to go ahead and roll the outro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.